Thank you for coming today. They got it right. The Supreme Court got it right. I've been working with Iowa legislators and 3 governors for the past 5 years. So this not only is a day in which I'm celebrating, but it's a day in which Iowans should be celebrating, because it really is a day in which health care not only is assured for them, but it is a day in which Iowans who have been bothered by the politics of this event can rest assured that all the legal issues have been resolved. Now we want to put the politics behind us and start implementing the law. The Supreme Court today, and the Supreme Court in its decision today on the Affordable Care Act, what we call Obamacare, because President Obama cares, is a major victory for everyone. We now have a path, and that's really the important part. We have a path to implementation to lower costs for businesses, large and small businesses, individual consumers, taxpayers, and increase the preventive care that Iowans need so badly. This decision is historic and is a historic milestone in the creation of the American public safety net. It is not a hyperbole to say that it's the most important decision the Supreme Court has issued in the past 50 years. The court has reaffirmed President Obama's bold approach to health care reform. I'm proud of the members of the Supreme Court who put differences aside and did the right thing for this country. What they preserved is an effective, reasonable health care law that will have major benefits to Americans, and let me give you a few benefits it will have for Iowans. It will help thousands of Iowans with pre-existing conditions who have been denied insurance policies previously a path to be covered. It will allow 611,000 Iowans who have already taken advantage of preventive care, like child care, child wellness, and cancer screenings in preventive care medicine that will prevent chronic diseases in the future. Over 18,000 Iowans today have already received the benefit of staying on their parents' policies, an effort that has increased in America over 3 million new insurers. Over 42,000 Iowa seniors have received an average of $1,300 in savings from their prescription drugs, and thousands more no longer have a lifetime limit that they've always had to worry about if you've had a real significant disease. But we know this decision is far from the last word on the health care debate. Suddenly, there are political concerns that somehow Obamacare will be the largest tax increase in history. The reality is the tax only kicks in if the individual chooses not to have health insurance. For those that have health insurance, there will be no tax, and it's the goal in Iowa to make sure that no Iowa has to pay a tax on not having health care. The Medicaid provisions of the decision are less important to Iowa, because Iowa did something in its leadership under 3 governors that created Medicaid expansion for adults. It's called Iowa Care. First initiated under the Vilsack-Peterson administration, continued under Governor Culver and Lieutenant Governor Judge, and actually was continued with the Branstad-Reynolds administration, where we've allowed Medicaid for adults to go beyond the federal requirement of 133% of poverty to over 200% of poverty. So this impact that gives the states a choice to expand Medicaid, Iowa has already expanded it. I don't see any politician presenting any kind of real threat to those Iowans to go back and take that right away from them. There is an apparent effort in the U.S. Congress to repeal and to replace Obamacare. It will not and cannot be taken seriously. The U.S. Senate will never pass it, and the President will never sign it. So those of Iowans and congressmen in Washington who want to play politics, I guess they're free to do so. I believe it is now more urgent than ever before for state leaders to step up, embrace the Supreme Court's decision, and in a bipartisan way lead this state, as it has in the past 5 years, lead this state to ensure that every Iowan can receive health insurance and receive health care. Make no mistake, there remains room for mischief in the implementation of the Affordable Care Act. But in Iowa, our work on health care has been marked by cooperation, not sabotage. And I remain very confident that a bipartisan implementation plan can be achieved. 2 weeks ago, I called on Governor Branstad to join with me to convene a health care summit where we could have all the stakeholders come together for 3 or 4 hours with experts that will allow us to dissect the Supreme Court decision and move forward in Iowa. I've revised that proposal. In my meeting with Jeff Boink yesterday, he was much more agreeable to looking at an idea that would be a nonpartisan summit convened by third parties. I've already talked to a university, 2 hospitals, and an insurance company that are interested in convening and hosting such a summit over the next 2 to 4 weeks. And when it comes to getting Iowans the health care they need, which are most effective and the highest quality, Iowa has had a history of doing that, and I expect that we will again. If we seize on this opportunity, Iowa has a success of doing the best it can for Iowa citizens. We don't want the federal government telling us what to do, and in essence, this ruling of the Supreme Court supports a market-based insurance reform process and still has private sector hospitals and doctors providing the care. What's important to us is our ability to provide the best health care for Iowa and for all Iowans. I'm looking forward to the governor's discussion with us, and today and right now, I'd like to just introduce Dr. Steve Eckstadt, who's Vice President of Government Affairs for Mercy Network and the founder of the Free Clinic of Iowa program in this state. Dr. Eckstadt.